All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a moment in history. Not just any battle, but one that really shines a light on leadership, and honestly, something we could all use a little more of these days. Good old-fashioned mutual respect.
I like where this is going.
We're talking about that legendary meeting between Alexander the Great, the conqueror, and King Puru of India. Our goal today is to dig into this story and see what lessons we can pull out about power dynamics, self-respect, and honestly, just how we should be treating each other.
Sounds like a plan. Where are we getting all this wisdom from today?
We're taking a deep dive into a really thought-provoking piece called When Puru Met Alexander. Ancient Pride, Modern Truth. It's from, let me see, Beyond the Desk, that's it.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What happened when these two powerful figures collided?
So picture this. Alexander the Great, this absolute force of nature who's basically conquered most of the known world at this point, comes up against King Puru. And what's so fascinating is that even though Puru is captured, like literally in chains, the source really emphasizes this unwavering self-respect that he just radiates. You'd think being a prisoner would kind of, diminish someone, but Puru doesn't let that happen.
Yeah, I can see how that would flip the script a bit. You've got this seemingly invincible conqueror and the defeated king, but Puru's inner strength, his sense of worth, it doesn't just disappear because he's lost a battle. That's got to change the whole interaction.
Right, and that leads us to this pivotal moment. Alexander, maybe trying to gauge Puru, asks him, "How should I treat you?" Now you might expect some begging, pleading, trying to save his own skin, but Puru's response is incredible.
I bet it was. What'd he say?
Straight up, "Treat me as one king would treat another." No beating around the bush, no fancy words, just pure, unadulterated self-respect.
Wow, that says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. Puru, even in defeat, gets it. His kingship isn't just about land or titles, it's about something deeper, a fundamental respect he commands just by being who he is. And the crazy thing is, Alexander seems to understand this too. It speaks volumes about both of them.
Yeah, I can see how this short exchange reveals so much about the true nature of authority and dignity. They both seem to grasp that real power goes beyond brute force and conquest.
Totally. And there's another interesting point the source brings up. It's about how Puru's name was historically mispronounced as Porus. Now you might think, okay, so what? It's just a name. But the piece argues it's a symptom of a much bigger issue.
Okay, I'm listening. How so?
Well, think about it. We do this all the time, even today. Mispronouncing names, getting identities wrong, misunderstanding cultures, twisting values to fit our own narratives. This whole thing with Puru's name, it highlights this tendency we have to oversimplify, to not really make the effort to understand others on their own terms.
That's such an important point. It's like just taking the time to pronounce someone's name correctly, to learn about their background and what's important to them, that shows a basic level of respect and a willingness to truly see them.
Exactly. And that lack of effort can lead to so much miscommunication, even disrespect. So the source then takes this idea and applies it to, well, pretty much everything. We see this Puru-Alexander dynamic pop up in all sorts of situations. Take the modern workplace, for example.
Oh yeah, I can see that happening all over the place at work.
Imagine a CEO and a junior coder. Does that CEO truly see the value and expertise the coder brings, even if they're on different levels of the corporate ladder? Or think about the creative world. A producer taking credit from a writer. Are they respecting that fundamental creative contribution?
Oh man, so many examples. And what about the relationship between employers and employees? Are we truly valuing the talents and the worth of each person on our teams? Or are we just focused on the bottom line? There's this thing nowadays where companies just discard employees if they don't pick up new skills super quickly, like within a year or something.
Yeah, the source talks about that.
Oh.
And it makes you wonder, where's the responsibility of the leaders, the mentors, to actually help people grow?
Right. Like, are we providing the right support and training?
The source uses this analogy that stuck with me. If a sapling doesn't grow in a year, do we blame the soil or the gardener?
Whoa, that's a good one.
It really shifts your perspective, right?
Yeah.
It makes you think about the environment, the leadership, the whole system. Maybe that's what needs fixing, not just the individual.
Absolutely. It reminds me of a concept the source introduces, aham brahmasmi. It's this idea that the divine resides within all of us.
I've heard of that.
So applying it here, it means we need to recognize the inherent worth in every single person, regardless of their position, their job title, whatever. Respect isn't just politeness, it's acknowledging that we're all connected, we all have something unique to offer.
It levels the playing field in a way. We're not just cogs in a machine. And the source also makes this really important distinction between ego and self-respect. Ego is all about demanding recognition, being loud, needing external validation. But self-respect, that's different.
Yeah, how so?
It's this quiet inner knowing of your worth. You don't need anyone to tell you you're valuable because you already know it. Puru's response to Alexander wasn't ego, it was pure self-respect. Even in chains, his sense of worth was unshakable.
That's a powerful example. It shows that true self-respect comes from within, not from external circumstances. It's about recognizing your inherent value, regardless of what's happening around you.
Exactly. And that's a lesson for all of us, especially those in leadership roles, big or small.
Yeah, whether you're leading a team at work, a family, or even just yourself through a tough time, it all applies.
To those leaders out there, the source has a challenge for you. It encourages us to see those we lead, not as subordinates, but as, and I love this, kings and queens in their own right. Because true greatness, real leadership, it's not just about winning or bossing people around. It's about how you treat others, how you make them feel.
I like that. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued and respected, regardless of their position in the hierarchy.
Totally. Now, the author also shared a personal story about how their own understanding of this encounter was shaped by watching the film Sikandar as a kid. It just shows how these stories, even ones from thousands of years ago, can really stick with you.
Right. It's amazing how a story, a movie, can have such a lasting impact.
And it's kind of crazy that Puru might not have these huge monuments dedicated to him like some other historical figures, but his story, his character, it's still alive in our collective memory.
It speaks to the power of storytelling. Even without those grand physical reminders, Puru's courage and dignity have been kept alive through narrative. It's like his story is woven into the fabric of history itself.
Totally. And there's this line in the source that beautifully sums up Puru's legacy. Chains did not define him, his words did. A king without a crown, but never without courage. Forgotten by pages, but remembered in poetry.
Wow. That's beautiful and so true.
It's a powerful reminder that leaving behind a teaching, a story that resonates with people, that can be even more powerful than just being a name in a history book. And the piece wraps up by saying that Puru's story is still relevant. It still has so much to teach us, but only if we're willing to listen.
That's a good point. Are we really paying attention to the lessons of the past?
So, final thoughts. In a world that's so obsessed with dominance, with power struggles, Puru's story is a refreshing reminder that true strength often lies in character and integrity in how we treat each other.
Right. It's about respecting people, recognizing their inherent worth, seeing them as equals.
Exactly. And whether you're leading a team, raising a child, or just facing your own challenges, remember this. The source said, "The greatest kings are the ones who know how to bow, not just command."
It's about recognizing that we all have something to learn from each other, no matter our position in life. No one is above respect and basic human dignity.
Absolutely. And so our last question for you, our listeners, to ponder. In a world still grappling with power dynamics, have we truly learned how to treat each other with that same level of respect and dignity that Puru demanded even as a captive? It's something to really think about.
Food for thought, for sure. Thanks for diving into this with me.
Thanks for listening, everybody.